Hello, everybody. I'm coming to you from a hotel in Vancouver, British Columbia after a travel day through the Pacific Northwest because I forgot to film the intro to my Weathered Indigo process video. I hope you enjoy it and come back next week for even more wonderful goodness. Hey everybody. If you recall, last week I did a layout using the Weathered Indigo designer paper pack and stickers from Creative Memories. I used one of my sketches. This week I decided I would highlight it again because it's a favorite because of the colors. Navy blue and gray are my favorite colors. But I thought this week I would recreate a sketch or a layout that is provided to advisors. As you know, I am a Creative Memories independent advisor, and one of the things that we are able to access are designs and sketches and layouts that they've done that we could share with our customers. So I thought I would take this layout, which is incredibly cool, and I would put it together for you. And then I don't have the photos yet. I have to go through my archive of photos to put in, but I thought it was really just too fun not to try to make. So I went ahead and I pre-cut a lot of it because this involves a lot of border maker cartridge punching with the notebook punch, and it is a favorite. But I thought I would do a lot of the cuts in advance and make it easy for everyone. So let me move this out of the way. I will hang this above my camera so I can copy it. But again, I wanted to remind you of the beautiful paper collection that is Weathered Indigo. Here's the one side, and there is the back side. Let me move this out of the way. And then we have the sticker collection. And if you recall, last week I used a couple of the stickers. I used some to make embellishment and do an embellishment cluster under the photo of my daughter-in-law, Charity. And then I used a title sticker here. So this is what I have left, and I will be using them today. First things first, let me pull all the pieces I pre-cut. Okay, and okay, this is on the left side. One on each side. Okay, so you see there's so many pieces that utilize the notebook punch that I thought it would just make this such an incredibly long video if I went ahead and I set out to do all of that. Okay, so now if you notice, if you recall, scrap journal size pages are 6.75 wide by 10 inches high. So you see this is 10 inches high, but I need to make it 6.7 inches wide. And this really pretty floral that I actually used last week in my design is an edge piece. So let's do that. And then there's also this edge piece that goes just underneath the notebook edge, so it really pops. So let's actually put that down first. Let me use my permanent adhesive. I still don't have my refills for my repositionable, but it's okay. I think we can do this pretty simply. Just kind of line it up so about 1/2 inch shows. All right. And then again, we'll lay this down. And then push this out to 6.75 by 10. Let me line that up. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to lift this up. Put a piece there. Now let me just lift that all up. Okay. 6.75. And again, I could use my layout studio, but I just don't have it with me at the moment. So let me line it all up. And there we go. And I could put some more adhesive, but for now, I think that's just fine. This is the right page. Move that off the side. And let's do the left page, but let's do this again. So I believe I had that lined up. Okay. And then we're going to line this up so that the top of the notebook edges line up with the 9, or the, excuse me, yeah, the 1/2 inch mark. And as close as we can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Never has to be perfect. Okay, now we're going to be, we just did the right side. Now we're going to do the left side. Okay, so we will line this up there. And then this side has to be lined up with 6.75. Lift it a little bit. Whoop. Oh joy, right? When things you need to have line up don't quite line up. But that's okay, we caught it before it stuck down. All right, boom. There we go. All right, so we have our 2 base pages. Okay, have them meet in the middle. All right, now the next thing we want to put on is, I believe we have this and this, which is a continuation. So if we put the pages close together, you could see this was part of a larger piece, and they're just going to kind of meet in the middle, kind of overlap one page to the other. So let's go ahead. Put this on, put it a bit of angle so I can see everything a little bit better. Okay, that there. And now let's do the same with this. Okay, again, put it at that angle, easier to see it and line it up. Okay, perfect. Okay, so when we put the pages together, we can see the beautiful overlap here. So that's wonderful. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we have this, which will hold a couple of photos, but I'm just going to put it down here loosely. Maybe I'll just stick the bottom down because we have to put some stickers above. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of about here. It's good, that's close enough. And so what we'll do is we'll put some photos in here. But one of the things that the layout has, what is it used come out? Yeah. Used these cool stickers behind it. And what I may do is I'm going to cut this sticker. Sorry, right in the camera line. So I can possibly use the other half somewhere else. Okay. And this was situated kind of behind it. Okay. Kind of follow along naturally. That's okay, I'm going to cover that up. So you saw that little boo-boo? It pulled off a little of the paper there, but we're going to cover that, so it's going to be okay. And then there is another sticker that they have on the design. Okay, it is up here in the corner. And that one's small, and I'm not going to save half of that. And then they took some of the heart stickers. Looks like they took all 3 heart stickers. So again, we're just trying to copy that layout that they gave the advisors as closely as possible. Luckily, there's not too much tweaking that has to happen because this is designed for the scrap journal versus some of the other simple page kits that I convert. Okay, so this looks like it was put about there. Okay, and then I think I can tack this down now. Okay. Beautiful. And then they took one of these flowers and they had it overlap up here. Very pretty. I just absolutely love these colors, guys. Then they took the Happy Life sticker and they put it across the top here. And this is where I said we'll get to cover up that little boo-boo. I'm going to put it a little off to the side. Okay, so you have Happy Life. And then I think they used, maybe they used oh, okay, they used another flower. But they had it stuck behind, I think. So I think what I'll do, I think they had it stuck behind. So I think what I'll do, I don't know that I can, well, maybe I'll just stick a little bit. So let me do this. Let me trim off the bottom edge. Put it back there. And let's see how much of this I can get. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so they have it coming out of the bottom, which gives you kind of some cool dimension. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to see what photos, size photos in here. This is my photo placement mats. These are probably one of my favorite tools that I get from Creative Memories because I do all my own, most of my own sketches. And so these are just amazing in terms of helping me figure out where to put photos. Okay, let's see. Let me shift that. Let me do, here's a 3x4 photo. Excuse me. I can do 2 3x3 photos. I can also do something like 3x4 below and 3x3 above. I think I might do something like that. That's pretty cool. So I'll leave those there for the moment. Then I'm going to shift. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to shift over to the other page because there's more things happening. Let me take a drink if I can here. Okay, so we have got a photo mat with more of the notebook punches. One here, and I think this is, yeah, this is for a 3x4 photo. So if you have a 3x4, you could trim it a little bit. You see, you'll have the cool edges. But that will go here. Okay, and then there's another one that goes above. And that sits right about here. But not unlike the other page, we need to add some stickers. So let me move these photo mats out of the way and grab some more of these stickers. Okay, so let's see, we need to add some of these stickers, and based on the design, okay, they had another one of these like coffee stained stickers up here in the corner, like that, okay, and so that photo will kind of sit like this, and you can see the coffee stain up in the upper left-hand corner. Then they had the other stickers. Over here. Let me try to line this up. Lift this up a little bit because I think the photo, yeah, something like that. Okay. Right, so this photo goes here, and why don't we just go ahead and, I think we can put this down now. Okay. Go. We have that one. And then another thing they did was they added some of these embellishments like the buttons and things, and I'm not going to do that to this one because I want to put the photos down first. They rest on the photos. Okay, the second photo mat, again, it sits here. And so let me go ahead and tack that down. Okay. It's pretty close to the bottom. Here we go. Lovely. And then they used one of the flowers, one of the blue flowers, the stem, and it looks like a little washi tape is holding it down. So we'll go ahead and we're going to put that there. Okay. And then, let's see. Let me pull the other page back in. So this would be a 3x4 photo. I would put a photo in here. I would probably do it a little smaller. Maybe cut 1/8 of an inch off my photo all the way around so I could have a little bit of a border. And it is the same for each. So that's what I would do. And then I would use the cute little button, looks like metal button stickers. One thing they did have on the left layout, and these you could have, these photos, by the way, you could have the 3x4 and the 3x3. You wouldn't need to cut them down because they already have kind of a built-in matting with that tag. The other thing that they did was they added kind of, you know, when you have a tag, there's usually a hole, and they put it on there. So I will go ahead and do that. So this is basically, let me get a couple more of these photo mats. Okay, so basically, here is the layout they provided. They provided or made available to advisors to use, but I thought I would take advantage and kind of put one together for you to see, one, to see what advisors have access to, but just to get another example of a really cool layout. On this particular one, Happy Life will be my title, and once I have the selected photos, I will probably either do journaling here, or I may add a tag coming off the side, right? So for example, here is an older punch. It's a 3-in-1 bevel tag punch, but you can make a tag any way you want. So if I did 2.5 inches, I need to trim this down real quick. Hold on. Pause. Trimming in process. Okay, 2.5 inches. Okay. Boop. Move the cutter out of the way. Bring the tag punch back in. And basically what this does is it's got a 1 inch, a 2 inch, and a 2.5 inch. I cut it to 2.5 inches. So this way you can actually create a tag as long as you want or as short as you want. Okay, let me get this out of the way. It's just kind of a cool tool. And put that away. And then what I would do is I would tuck this in here. I would probably trim this down. Let's take off. Okay. Boom. There we go. So then you could actually make this so it can be pulled out if you wanted. I would probably tack it down, but this would also give you, if you wanted to do more embellishing, for example, on this side, and maybe something that wraps around your photo, you could still do some journaling on this side. And that would be kind of a cool thing as well. You could also, if you don't have a fancy punch, okay, just take a long sheet of paper and you can always kind of make your own kind of tag, right? Make sure I'm still in the frame here. Cut it. And then, if you want to be as precise as possible, you could take that offcut, hold it down, or use a pencil and make your mark. Hold that a little farther back. And boom, you've made your own homemade punch, or a snap punch, a homemade tag topper. And there you go. And then you could put one of those cool stickers. In fact, I will do that. One of these cool little stickers. Put it, try to get it in the center. And there we go. And there you have a tie-in, right? So you have one large tag here and you have another tag here. One of the things you could also do, which I didn't anticipate doing this, is before you stick this down, you could actually make kind of a cavity, right? So that you could pull it in and out and it wouldn't flop all over. You could, heck, you could do a bunch of tags right? If you had either different tag punches or you made the tags different sizes, right? Let's try that real quick, okay? I'm not gonna get fancy. I'm not gonna get my cutter out. We're gonna do it old school, right? And you can still do the corners. I'm just gonna fake it for the purposes of this, right? Not a great, not a great cut. I would probably do what I did with the other one. But you could actually line tags all the way around. And if you want to use one for journaling, you could make a note like pull, or sometimes people have stamps that say pull. And if you have something right above it and right below it, right? Make sure I have enough space. They will fit and they won't go anywhere, right? If these are tacked down, this won't go anywhere and you can just pull it in and out, if that makes sense. So those are some cool ideas. But otherwise, that's it, guys. You're basically seeing me put together another Weathered Indigo scrap journal layout. This one was courtesy of Creative Memories. It's an advisor layout, so it's not necessarily available to everybody. I believe you only have access if you are an advisor, but very cool idea nonetheless. And you know, if you're watching along, you can always try to recreate this. And you can make changes to the size of the photo mats based on the size photos that you have. In any event, I hope you guys got some cool information out of this one. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. As always, I appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. That helps me bring you more content. And if you have some ideas for content, please let me know in the comments below. And I will see you in the outro. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching my process video. Please come back next week where I take stickers and flat embellishments from the Bundle of Joy collection and I make fun, easy 3D embellishments. I hope to see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.